Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Python Fundamentals, and in this video we will cover data types. So let's get started. So in the previous video I had shown you how to use type function to determine the data type of a variable. So what exactly a data type is? A data type in programming defines the type of data a variable can hold, such as integers, floating point numbers, characters, or boolean values. If you break this down into simple words, so uh, you know that we can store something in a variable. So whatever we store can be anything, like numbers or like text or something. So these things are actually classified as data types. Let's see different type of data types in Python. So there are mainly these few data types in Python. So starting with numeric. So these consist of integers, float, complex numbers. Then we have dictionary, boolean, set, sequence type. Under sequence type we have string, tuple, lists. So let's study them one by one in details. So starting with numeric types. So we have integers at first. So as you know, integers, it stores whole numbers like 1 2 3 4, minus 1 minus 2 minus 3, the information or data of these kinds. Then we have float, so something that stores decimal numbers. So you can see these examples in front of the screen. Then we have complex numbers. So if you're studying in high school, you probably know what complex number is. So I will just show you what a complex number is. So basically, a complex number has an imaginary part and a real part. So as you can see in the example, it's let's consider 2 plus 3i, or it's given it's 3i, it's given 3j's. So sorry for the inconvenience. So this is the real part, and this part is the imaginary part of a complex number. So we won't go much details in this. It's just to show you, like, we won't be using much of these kind of things, but still it's better to know. Okay, so let's switch the screen, and let's try a few examples. So let's create a variable, let's say x, and we store there a number, for example 10. And then we create a third variable y, and then we store a decimal number, let's say something 5.5. And then we create another variable for storing the complex number. So let's say z equals to, like, 2 plus 3j, sorry, 3i. I don't know, like, in mathematics we use I, but here it doesn't support. So let's print a different type of data type of these using type function. So first we will use print, then type, and then we will name the data variable, let's say x. Then in the same way we'll name the other ones. Now let's run the program and let's see if it shows. So as you can see, our first variable, which was an integer, second which was a float, and the third which was a complex number. So there's nothing more in this topic, but yeah, one more interesting thing I would like to show is that, let me clear this. So like, let's say we have a complex number, let's say 10 plus 20j, and like, there's a method in which you can separate the real part and imaginary part. So it's like let's say print, and the name of the variable in which you have stored the complex number, that's z dot, then you have to type image for imaginary part, like this, in braces. And then after that print z dot, for the real part it's real. So let's print this. We can see error in this. So let's write once more. Yeah, so I had a mistake by adding the parenthesis. So as you can see, the real part of x, which is 10, is shown here, 10, and then the imaginary part, which is 20, is shown here at the top. Okay, so this is something we can do out of it. And one more thing is left, like you can also construct a complex number from two given numbers. Like for example, at first you define the variable, let's say z equals to, then you have to type complex. Then inside parenthesis, first you have to enter the real part and then the imaginary part. Let's say the real part is like for example 2, and then the imaginary part is, let's say, 9. And then if you print this variable z, it will show you a complex number. Let's run it. So you can see that we have a complex number printed, 2 plus 9j, as we had given the information in the code. So this 2 is the real part and 9 is the imaginary part. So this was all about the integer thing. So let's switch the screen and see the other data types. So in the second, we have sequence types. So at the first we have strings. So string is something like, it is a collection of characters. Like we have one hello. So these individual letters are characters. So it's just basically a collection of characters. Then we have list, which stores or an ordered mutable collection of items. So it's like, what's an array is, it's something of that kind. And what mutable is, the meaning of mutable is that you can change the elements later in a program. After that we have tuple. So it's even stored and ordered in mutable collection. So the difference between list and tuple is that in a list you can change the elements of it later in the code, but in a tuple you cannot change. So that's basically the difference between a list and tuple. And then we have range. So range cannot be classified much of a data type, but it's like, it's not much important in our discussion, but still it was there, so I had told you. After that we have set types. So under set we have stores an unordered collection of unique elements. So what is the difference between a tuple and a set? So the main difference between a tuple and a set is that both are mutable, but the thing is that in a tuple you can repeat a certain element more than once, but in a set you cannot repeat a certain element, any element more than once. Like you cannot duplicate elements in a set. So that's basically the difference, nothing much. So let's try a few examples. Before that I would like to show you something. That's in case of a set, a list, we use square brackets, and inside the square brackets we put the elements. Now one important thing is that in a list we can put multiple type of data types. Like for example, we can put any number or a letter or a characters or something, anything of your choice. And we define a tuple using parentheses, and then we use curly braces to define a set. So let's see with a few examples. So let's switch the scene. So let's say we have a list. Like we cannot use keywords as variable names, and as I had told you before. So let's see. We have to put underscore. list, and then let's make a list. We can put, let's say we can put a few numbers, 1 2 3, and after that let's say something, a string like hello. Then we can also put a few like a decimal, float, let's say 2.5. Let's also add a complex number, let's say 2 plus 3j, and let's also add a tuple in our code. We use parentheses, so 1 2 3, anything. You can store any data like string, integers, float, complex number, anything, characters. Then we have set. Sorry, we have to use curly braces. So this is also same like the previous ones, list and tuple. So you can put anything of your choice, like 1 2 12, any number of your choice. And now let's see the type. Let it determine them. Let's prove it. So first print, then type, the same code we had used in the previous one. Then name of the variable, list, then print, again type, then tuple, then we have print once again, type, and then set. So let's run this. So as you can see, at first we had the list and we got list, then we had a tuple followed by a set, and here we have a set. So this was everything. We will learn details in some other videos, like when I teach these things in more details. Like we have different methods, and it's pretty interesting to learn about these things. So let's not waste much time in these things and jump to our next topic. So next we have mapping type. So what this mapping type actually is. So let's see what under this. We have a dictionary. So you can see that it's written stores key value pairs. For example, you can see that here's an example. So if I explain this to you in simple words, so basically you have a question and like you have an answer to that. So key is the question and the answer to that is known as the value. So it's like let's say you have a dictionary, like let's say we have a dictionary dict, and then equal to, then we have to write this inside curly braces. So let's see you have a question. For example, let's say you have something, let's say we have a car, we have a car model. So let's say we have question as model, and then we have answer as, let's say, BMW. So it's something of this kind. So like this is a key or a question, and this is the value or answer. So like it's not actually question and answer, but for explaining this to you I had to use this context. So let's see what this actually is. So let's define this variable where we will store the dictionary. So let's say dict, and then use curly braces, and then let's say we have let's add a few more kind of details to this. Let's say we have company, and let's say we have BMW, then we have a model, let's say M4, and now M4 has to be a string, to be honest. Let's say price, Let's say price of BMW M4 I had last seen was something around 156 grands. We can't use a comma, so that's meant this. So as you can see, this is company. We have BMW and price, the price that I had mentioned before. So that was all about dictionary. We will learn about more in details about this in some other videos. Later I will post those. So let's dive in our final topic. That's we have Boolean type. So what's a Boolean type? So it stores values in the form of true or false. Like true is 0 and never mind. True is 1 and false is 0. So we have different kind of applications. Uh, you know, for example, suppose you are given a situation like in while using those membership operators, answering those membership operators, this Boolean type is used like true or false. Like a given situation or given condition is true or false, we the program executes and answers that in this form. So this was all about today's video. I hope you got to learn something new. Thank you. Keep watching.